Robinson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? 7-12. Actions determined in closed session, there were none. Procedural issues, a recording of this meeting is being made and shall be kept for 30 days as public record as applicable. Mr. Moore, you want to lead us in the pledge? Mr. Bender's here, Mr. Gutierrez is here, Mrs. Sanchez is absent, and Mr. Moore is here. Motion to approve the agenda.
I make a motion we approve the agenda.
Mario, second. Myself. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? One absent. Any comments from the public?
No comments.
All right, so I'll read the paragraph. Reports and communications. Start out with student board member, Mr. Moore. Ms. Isabel, who wants to go first?
School news. We have a kindness challenge January 28th through July 31st, where students had to complete kindness challenges to win prizes. On February 10th, there is a middle school success series from 6 to 7 p.m. on helping your student maintain organization skills. ASB activities, dance team, and Camp Keith will be starting to sell world's finest chocolate coming soon. This week we held a meeting to discuss decorations, activities, pictures, and food for a Valentine's Day dance on February 14th. Camp Keith from Wasc Accreditation. Camp Keith was a huge success. We sent 56 students. It was raining one day, so it was an awesome experience for the students. They enjoyed seeing Morrow, Rock, and laying on the docks meeting the critters. Looking forward to next year. There is a family movie night on April 24th from 5:30 to 8 p.m. Cadet Club. Students were able to attend the cadet ball with the high school in Bakersfield on February 1st. We left RHS at 3 p.m. and returned at 9. Cadets had a great time attending the ball. 2 TMS students were able to attend the individual major awards. TMS students were given Class D uniforms, which they wear every Monday. Sports. Today and tomorrow are the last games of the regular season for our boys and girls basketball teams. The Eagles have had a great season. In the North Division of the Tree District Sports League, the girls' 8th grade team is 4-2 and are in second place. The boys' 6th to 7th grade team has a record of 5-1 and are also in second place. The girls' 6th to 7th grade team is in first place with a 5-1 record. The boys' 8th grade team is winless but hopes to finish the season with a victory. Next week, the league tournament begins on Tuesday. We should have 3 teams playing for the league championship. The soccer teams were held their tryouts and the teams have been selected. We have 28 students on the girls team and 24 players on the boys team. Teams have all grades 6th, 7th, and 8th. Soccer teams are currently practicing to prepare for the season. League's play begins on February 19th. All games are played at the Lancaster Soccer Center beginning at 3:30.
Due to the lack of participation for the winter ball, it was canceled. You can now buy RHS lanyards for $5 at our student store. The band had a winter showcase last night, and I talked to the band teacher. He said it turned out okay. The junior class is selling blankets and towels with the RHS Roadrunner for just $10. Baseball conditioning and softball conditioning started Monday and Wednesday from 3 to 5. Softball tryouts are Friday at 3:30 on the softball field. Our senior night for our basketball players is Friday, February 7th, and all sports need to have a current physical on file. The boys soccer is 10-0, the girls soccer is 9-1-1. Boys basketball is 7-3, and girls basketball is 9-1. And prom tickets are $90 and $110 next week. And prom's April 25th. weeks on.
Student or showcase time. Looks like Rosamond Elementary School is on the docket. Mr. Mesa and Ms. LaRue.
If you guys don't mind, we're going to stand back over here. I can't turn my neck very well, so it has to be my whole body. So thank you, board members, Ms. Gaines, Ms. Hargis, public. We're Rosamond Elementary. My name is Santiago Meza, and I have Felicity LaRue, my teammate and great supporter of each other, for sure. So we're going to be showcasing tonight what PBIS is and why we're doing it. So PBIS, and let's go back a little bit. So last year we started with capturing kids' hearts, trying to build relationships with each other, with their kids, with the community. And so PBIS is a positive behavior intervention system that we're moving forward with as well too, to kind of enhance the capturing kids' hearts relationship. So PBIS is a school-wide approach to make schools safer and promote positive behaviors. It also helps schools decide how to respond to child misbehaviors or misunderstandings. And why we do it is to teach behaviors, not just for us, but to teach it for kids, kind of like you would do reading and math. Behaviors go along with it. It's a social emotional part of it that you're doing. Kids can not only meet their behaviors expectations if they don't know how to do it. So there has to be expectations at school on how that takes place. So that's why we're doing PBIS this year. And so what we did is we have a school-wide matrix that we collaborated with teachers and staff and stuff. And so it goes through, and we decided that we were the Rockin' Robins. So there's an actual song that has that tweet, Rockin' Robins tweet, old song. So what we came up with is each letter in tweet has a different association to it. It's kind of small, but you guys have it in your folders. And so you have a T, W, E, E, and T. And so we, as a staff, we came up with all settings. These are the things that are expectations for everybody on campus. We also went through the cafeteria. These are the expectations for our campus. Then we went through and did the playground and blacktop and the restroom. So if you go across the row, you have expectations for each setting, and as you go down, you have the expectations for each T, W, E, E, and T kind of thing. So that's school-wide. And as a team, PBIS team, we decided that the cafeteria would be the best place to start. That's where all kids go. That's where most of the staff is at. So that'd be a great opportunity to start is in the cafeteria. So there was a poster made, and the high school was kind enough to help produce those posters. So that poster is now in each classroom, and it's also, I believe, in the cafeteria. So we have the tweet. It's treat others with respect, willingness to learn, encourage others, engage in education, and try your best. So Ms. LaRue and several of our team members from PBIS, Ms. Cesaneros, Ms. Sigourney, which is our lead CSO right now, Ms. Kaminsky, Ms. Tanya came back a little bit later, so she was instrumental in that. So what happened is we had an assembly with each grade level to present this information to them. And so they did little skits with the kids on what it should look like and not look like in each category. So all kids in each grade level and teachers could see what that would look like if you're achieving the expectation and stuff, and what it is to not achieve the expectation. And so this, the cafeteria matrix is actually projected from the start of the day. So it sits in the very front of the school. It's projected so all the kids can see what the expectations are. And what the staff member has to do is say, hey, are you tweeting? Are you treating others with respect? Are you at a zero silent, whisper? So they can point to it directly, and kids can see, oh, he's talking about or she's talking about this expectation in the cafeteria and stuff like that. So then we go to Tweet Bugs, which was a great idea from Ms. LaRue. She developed an actual Rockin' Robin tweet bug that has our expectations on there. We are RES, and she put 3082, which is our address, which worked out really great. And so she's going to come around and hand out some tweet bugs to you guys. And so you guys are actually doing a great job treating each other with respect. And And so when we hand these out, all staff members have tweet bucks. And so when we hand them out, we just don't give them to a child. We tell them why they got that tweet buck. So if they're walking in line with their hands to their side ready to go, we explain to them why they're getting that tweet buck. And with that tweet buck, we'll see in the next slide. It's kind of small, but you can purchase items from people. So the first one I'm going to walk up a little bit is for $10 of your tweet buck, you can tell the school appropriate joke of the day. So in the morning when we do our announcements, that kid can come up the day before and do like a little purchase order with their tweet bucks and say, I would like to tell a joke. So they'll tell the joke ahead of time so that way when it goes on air in the morning, they can say that. So it goes down the list of items. The most that we've had right now is I have a stat going for morning announcements in the morning. So whoever has a purchase order with tweet bucks, they give it to the teacher. It's a little purchase order, then it gets sent to the person that is designated to. So there's items on there that has Miss LaRue, myself, Sigourney, it even has Gara on here. Give a shout out on the marquee. We can put their name on the marquee, like, hey, so and so, Miss LaRue is saying hi to, Gary or whatever it is. So it goes down the list of items. And what's cool about it too, the tweet books, the actual classrooms can come together and pool their money together for items and do stuff together too. So, and that also teaches collaboration for the kids and teaches them that, doing these things, you can work together and purchase some of those things. So, I don't think, what's the highest we have is 100 right now? Somebody? Yeah, I think it's 100 right now, and that will be in the next slide that we have. They'll have opportunities to do other things with those tweet bucks. So with the tweet bucks, they have monthly purchase and quarterly events. So we are going to host a game day. We're thinking about board games probably first, and then move into the electronic part of it. But they have this list of items they can purchase. So throwing a water bottle, balloon, and a staff member, and it's not just random staff members. So we sent out a survey that said, hey, who would like to participate in these things? So that way we know who we can turn to that would be willing to do this. So it's also a pie in the face for Miss LaRue and myself. She was probably going to go first, and I'll go second. Miss LaRue makes some amazing brownies, so that's another thing that they can strive for. Being an office helper, read into another class, paint a staff member's face, and again, these are persons that have volunteered, to do these things. And then 5 minutes extra recess. We've already had 2 students be able to do that, so they turn in their tweet bucks to their teacher, then give it to our lead CSO, Ms. Sigourney, and they get 5 extra minutes either beforehand or after at recess to do that kind of thing. So morning announcements again, and then PBI store we're going to be doing it quarterly. Yeah. So the incentives, what's cool about it too is using the tweet bucks. Teachers are also within their classrooms using them as an incentive. So they're able to use their tweet bucks and purchase items within Treasure Box in their own classroom. So they're using it as an in-house reward for themselves as well too. So they're purchasable things within their classrooms. Teachers have treasure boxes in their classrooms, so they're able to purchase items as well too. Again, it's going to be quarterly, March, and doesn't have the right dates. Okay. Okay, so once a quarter. And then the purchase requests are in little orange purchase requests that are on there. And then they go on there, they hand it a tweet buck staple, and they go directly to the person that it's going to be taken care of and stuff like that. So. And this is just a picture of, we are doing raffles as well too. So Ms. Monsibias, our library tech, we have items that we give her, and she puts it up on stage to display. So the entire cafeteria, all the kids that are coming through can see what is available for that week. And so they'll have raffle tweet bucks that they turn in, and what they'll do is they'll get those and they get a coupon to redeem. And so we have a big raffle at the end of the week, and I think the one this week is a lamp and a gumball machine. And the gumball machine, like, no one cares about the lamp, they just want the little gumball machine and stuff like that. So it's something that we will be doing. Tweet bucks purchase. We've had students also purchasing time to read in other classrooms. So you have the tweet bucks that are taking place, so they'll purchase time to be able to read in other classrooms for other kids and stuff like that. So thank you from us to you guys. PBIS is making a big difference in our school with our kids and our teachers, and just adding to the Capturing Kids parts. It's both positive things that we're doing on our campus and stuff. Is there anything that you wanted to know? Okay. Any questions?
How long does it take and what do I have to do to get 500 of these?
500 of those.
Yeah, so we just started this in the second week we came back from Christmas break. And we already have kids who have paid for games, like 200 already that have paid for game day and what was the other event. So all of our staff are giving them out, custodians, librarian, office. So they have, potentially they could get, I don't know, a lot a day.
So if I'm one of the custodians, I got a handful of these in my pocket or somewhere, and I can see a kid doing something good, and I can go and say,
Right.
this is for doing this.
Yeah,
Right.
so we actually had one of our lead custodians, I was watching him from a distance, and he was actually, the kids were coming to have their hands in the tray, dumping him, instead of throwing the food over, they're dumping, and he was like, hey, great job putting your food into the trash can. And they walked away, and he said that to everyone that did that job. And what the TweetBucks does is it proximity reinforcers well too. So if you have a child that is in line and not doing their job, well, you go around them and you tell the other, hey, thank you for walking in line, and do your job, put your hands to your side. And so the other kid's like, well, why didn't I get one? Why don't you ask Johnny why you didn't get one? And Johnny will say, hey, so I got one when I was standing in line doing my job. And he said, okay, so hopefully that, we don't have to always model it. It could be from another peer and stuff like that. So.
They're looking for forgeries or anything in school.
So we've already encountered some glitches in the system, and we're trying to remedy those and have conversations with those students and families of what an actual TweetBuck is. It's not for rendering services of other things. It's services for what we have as purchases and stuff like that. So with anything that you implement and do, there's going to be some things that, yeah, little you learn as you go for sure. So.
Any questions? Great job.
Okay, thank you.
All right, RTA.
Well, this is going to be the most unfortunate coincidence. And I apologize to Mr. Meza and Ms. LaRue, because I've been getting a lot of information from teachers telling the other side of the story. A major issue that I'm hearing from teachers, not at one site, but at multiple sites, is student behavior and student discipline problems. And we understand that there are issues with special ed students who have behavioral background problems. We understand that. But we're talking about the regular ed students who are causing severe behavior issues and discipline issues within the classroom. So my question is, what does the board expect? When students verbally attack a teacher, what does the board expect? When students threaten a staff member, what should happen? When students use extreme obscenities, is there a consequence? Board Policy 5144 requires that the district provide a model discipline matrix that lists violations and consequences. And the matrix that I have, which I think is the most current one, is dated 2016-2017, but it's the same matrix that is printed in the Tropico handbook. Now, I didn't go around to all the sites to look at their handbooks. This one was readily available to me. It's the same matrix dated 1920. So I don't know if this is the current matrix that the board is expecting to be followed, but this is the one that I have access to. And my goodness, this is such a coincidence. But first of all, let's look at the minor offenses that are on the first page. Number 2, oral or written abuse, including racial, ethnic, religious, handicap, sexual harassment, and other sexual slurs. And there are consequences that are supposed to go along with those. Are those consequences occurring when they happen? It talks a lot about the step system. Step 1, Step 2, Step 3, Step 4. Are those steps being followed by site administrators? or are the students simply being counseled and hope that they improve? These consequences talk about detention or in-house suspensions, and I know currently we don't have the resources to pay for those things. And we've seen those things available at Tropical Middle School, and at times they've worked and at times they've gone away. Right now there is no detention program. Right now there is little of an in-house suspension program. So minor offenses are having to be dealt with in the classroom.
Mr. Quellman, can I interrupt you?
This is being looked at by the district currently for rewrite. This is not on the agenda, so I don't necessarily know if you're going to be asking for action from us.
No, I'm not asking for action. This is a teacher issue where teachers have concerns. Items 2, 4, 5, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. These items are occurring on a regular basis at multiple sites. And I'm not just talking about older kids at the middle school and the high school. I'm having this reported to me by teachers at the elementary schools. Verbal and physical abuse going on, threats going on, attacks going on to staff members. And are there consequences that are being followed that are in this discipline matrix? The teachers are telling me they have doubts. The teachers are telling me there are no consequences. There is no step system being followed. So yes, we want to have positive behavior intervention systems. We want to have capturing kids' hearts systems. Those are good, but we need to have a balance also with systems that say, if you're going to enact or engage in these behaviors, there's going to be a consequence. And what I'm hearing from teachers is they have a real doubt with whether those consequences are occurring on a regular basis. They don't get feedback, they don't get communication. When we write referrals to the office, at some sites, those referrals are recorded and followed, and a paper trail is created. At other sites, they're not. So a student can go 1, 2, 3 years, and we look in the area system and we don't see that there's been any sort of a paper trail or discipline system for those students. Then when that student goes from one site to the next, and we wonder why there's behavior problems when we don't see that there's any history of behavior problems, as a staff, we wonder what's going on in these situations. As I said before, I appreciate the programs of PBIS. I appreciate the programs of capturing kids' hearts, but I think we need to have a balance with both positive approaches and with discipline. The positive approaches seem to work really well with the students who already have good behavior or moderate behavior. The positive approaches with students who have severe bad behavior have little or no impact. Teachers have a right to teach. Students have a right to learn. And when we have constant disruptions in the classroom, and those disruptions are not being addressed, that's when we have a difficulty to provide the best education we can for our students. So we need to look at both sides of the story as we go through this program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. CSEA?
This seems to be the spot to stand, so. So one of the major issues that we're facing right now is that paraeducators and CSOs at Tropico are being told to go into the locker rooms to observe students while dressing out. The concerns we have feel like they are going unheard. CSOs are worried about being pulled away to observe students in locker rooms when fights are becoming more prevalent at Tropico. We've been waiting on decisions to be made as to how the students will be monitored or if they even should be monitored. Instead, as of January 21st, students are being told to dress out for PE. Monitoring students in the locker room is not a job duty of the classroom paraeducator. There are many safety and legal concerns that need to be addressed, and the PE teachers are not able to delegate these jobs to classified employees as it has been happening. That is not their right, and it is not our paraeducators' responsibility to abide by the demands of a certificated employee. This has to come from the admin. These paraeducators should be within the classroom with their students, and after all, the district makes them sign a paper stating that they are working 100% of their time within their duty. I wouldn't feel honest signing a paper if I'm continuously working outside of my duties. Paraeducators are being treated like some sort of catch-all staff member. They have a set of responsibilities, and they do those responsibilities. If you need people to consistently work outside of the job classification, you need to start hiring more staff for those positions. When you're extending people's work hours, making them fill out overtime sheets every month instead of giving them the hours that they so obviously need for the school site to function, you're abusing the kindness of our hardworking classified staff members, and you're not giving them the benefits that they are deserved. There is also a decision being made to attempt to get rid of our lead CSO position, even though by contract, the district is only allowed to remove a job due to lack of funds or lack of work. It seems like the funds are there. If not, we would have dealt with this last time we were all facing layoffs. So there must be a claim for lack of work. We have students running wild on and off campus at Rosamond Elementary. We have fights happening at Tropico Middle School, a site with no security cameras that is becoming increasingly dangerous. We have trucks doing deliveries through the back gate of Rosamond High School while we're on lockdown. Tropico and West Park both have continued issues with their SEND program, and the students are putting themselves, their peers, and our staff in danger. We don't have enough bodies present for our SEND students. Those classrooms are grossly underprepared, undertrained, and underfunded, despite what all aspects of our stakeholders have been attempting to mention last year and this year, before the move even happened. Perhaps if you feel like there is some sort of lack of work within that job classification, let's rewrite the job description instead of getting rid of it. Let's give them more responsibilities. Let's put them in charge of maintaining the radios and their inventory. Let's allow them to review security camera footage so we aren't paying administrators to do that. Let's actually allow the leads and trust the leads to manage their CSOs in a way they feel is optimum. Let's let them be the buffer between administrator and the team of CSOs. Let's give them the task of training their team. Let's make them the CPI trainers instead of a district admin. Invest in your employees. Don't look at them as disposable resources. We are people and we deserve to be treated as such. But if you continue to cut us, force us to struggle, work outside of our job classifications, and not provide us with the necessary tools and staffing that we need to do the jobs that we have to do, of course it's going to seem like we're in a struggle with our job classifications. This lack of work you might be suggesting for this position, you are just going to be making administrators do more. Most admins are already working a large part of their day doing campus security work. If anything, you need to be restoring the CSO positions you cut previously. We need our CSOs. Our campuses are not secure enough. You want us to do all sorts of lockdown, lockout drills, being prepared for the worst sort of events, staying vigilant and keeping our students secure, then at the same time you want to cut us down because you think there might be some sort of lack of work? We have been understaffed since the deep cuts that you made to our employees. That goes with teachers and classified. We have people that are working through their lunch every day to make sure that they are able to complete their task. The subpool for the district is dwindling to pathetic lows. We have countless safety concerns that are always willing to share our voice. We are always willing to share our voice and opinions on the matters. Because the classified are over 200 people with over 200 minds willing to assist with any and every problem, and yet our voice is diminished for reasons that I wish I knew. Just know, we are all here for the good of the district. This is our home and our family. Many of us have been here for decades, working through all the changes of administration, surviving budget cuts and employee layoffs, continuing to do diligent work every day. So please, listen to our voice. We are, and always have been, on the same team.
Thank you. CBO report.
Expedite that, and we had an email back from the accounting supervisor at DGS and OPSC that the money would come through within the next 2 weeks, and then the request for payment had already been transmitted to the treasurer's office of the state.
Questions? That's all you got? All right, thank you. Associate Superintendent, Mrs. Harvis.
Good evening, Walker County. Tomorrow we are going to have our first ice flag and our third one to show that we're Wasc accredited. It'll be great to show it outside the school and show how proud we are at this accreditation, because everybody did a lot of work. They had a lot of obstacles to overcome, but we were transparent with what we need to do and where we're at, and I think they saw that we're there and we're true, so we'll be able to move forward. So I'm very proud.
Congratulations. That's it. Good, all right. Board member communications, Mr. Gutierrez.
Ms. Aquenenni, I want to thank you for doing this WASP for us. The accreditation of 6 years is excellent. I mean, that is the highest I've seen.
Oh, wonderful, good.
Usually, we get a 3.
Okay.
So it's been a while since we had a 6. So yes, that is just amazing.
Thank you.
And thank you. Mr. Clement, we are reviewing the old matrix that you gave us. And we will be meeting with all the principals on that. It's just, with everything else going on, it kind of fell through the wayside, but it is being reviewed. But that's something that I like to really keep an eye on, because when we do expulsion hearings, we ask a lot of questions on the principals and what they've been doing, and by the time the child comes to us, we want to know what's going on and what's happened in the last year. And we actually look at their entire career with us. We do a lot of background checking on the child and what their discipline has been throughout their career with us here in our district.
Which is why the career-long paper trail is important.
Needs to be,
And if
that's
it's not
what it
being
is.
done, it leaves holes and misunderstandings. I apologize for
Yeah.
interjecting.
But yes, we do look at all that, and believe me, there's been some updating. Other than that, glad to see everybody's here. I mean, it's nice to have everyone. Thank you for coming.
Mr. Bender?
I'd like to say good job to Rosamond Elementary. And go along with Mr. Quillman about the children nowadays. I wish we could give tweet bucks to parents. We're in tough times, we really are. No teacher should ever be cussed out, hit, threatened, never. And when we have our meetings, I want you to know, we do research. We've got a problem in the district. Not so much paper trail, because we research a lot of them all the way down 5 years with paperwork of a bad behavior. We've got to address fixing it somehow, or doing something. I'm with you 1,000,000%. No teacher should ever be treated that way.
And I apologize, it happens every day. The language.
And I'm sure it does.
The language teachers tell me that are being thrown at them is unbelievable.
I believe them 100%. That's why we could get these hands into some of the parents' hands. Your comment. I'm with you 100% on that. I wish we could find more money to fund more things at the school that in desperate need of, and hire more safety officers. It's a shame, again, all this goes back, it's a shame we have to have somebody nowadays, but we have to. And we've been taking all that in consideration, we've been really talking about it, and I'm real firm about teachers being able to teach the other students in that class. If it takes having to get rid of 1 or 2, then we need to do that, because the other ones are important, not just overlook it. But our hands are tied. As far as I found out so far, I've only been here almost a year, our hands are tied, or a year, on what we can do sometimes. So let's all work together and try to fix it. And I think if we communicate, we all get together, we get all the teachers on board and with administrations, and we get down and use everybody's brain, not just the administration brain, to come out with what we're going to do, but get everybody's input. I think we can do something, and that's what's important. Thank you.
Mr. Robinson?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. I do want to address both of you, because we do spend a lot of time talking about just what you're talking about. But unfortunately, new laws have been created in Sacramento that say you can't even suspend someone for disrespecting a teacher. And they're tying our hands. But we are looking at whatever we can do, because it does need to be a comprehensive approach. And you cannot just bring a kid into your office, say, oh, that was not a good thing to do, and don't do that anymore. Because that doesn't work. Unfortunately, it's a culture thing. And I don't know if any of you watched the Super Bowl, but yeah, used to be that that sort of thing wouldn't have been where children would be watching. And I'm just appalled at the things that are going on in our culture. And in our homes, parents are accepting that kind of language. They're speaking to their children that way. And it is within the kid's capability to learn that you may speak that way at home, but at school we have a different standard. And if we can get everyone reinforcing the same standard, then, you know, we can address it. And I did want to say, I appreciate the work that Ms. Gaines has done in getting communication going. We get reports now from all the departments, and I love being able to hear what the hard work that people are doing in different departments, what's going on. And it's really important. Even if you have something like you guys had to say, we need to hear your communication. We just had an LCAP meeting. We were missing a representative from special ed. And so please, if you have somebody from special ed who could come to our LCAP meetings and put that information in. If you can encourage parents who can be positive and critical at the same time, we'd love to have more parents at the meeting. So I know that last year we had to make a bunch of changes and work on the money issue. But this year, I promise you, we are going to work on the education issues. And discipline, you cannot educate children if there is not discipline. So I'm right with you. And people that are being asked to do things outside of their classification can file a grievance about it, you know. But don't just go to the top. Try to work, you know, the next step up and, you know, go through the channels. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Mason, Ms. LaRue, thank you for coming out and sharing what your school's got going on. Ms. Aquenenni, tremendous job, you and your team.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you make it their way new heights.
I'm hoping. We're hoping.
As far as discipline, I think everybody's pretty much spoken to it. We do get the monthly or the weekly reports, and the number of suspensions is alarming. Okay, so we know there's discipline. Is it proper discipline that may be looked at? You know, we all got to be all in. It's got to be the parents, the students, make the administration do things better, and the board do things better. We set that guidance for Mrs. Gaines to steer us and give us there. You know, we got to look at that. And I
think that was brought up tonight, we all gotta look and do our part. Admin, we may need to look at more creative ways to handle that discipline. Teachers, some probably needs classroom management. I hate to say it, Mr. Plowman, but you've been in some classrooms and some folks need classroom management skills. That could help us get all in. Like I said, admin, we probably need to look at how we do things, and the board, we're all culprits in this. We're trying to go in the right direction, capturing kids' heart, PBIS, but I would imagine if we asked some teachers at some campuses or some staff, they wouldn't even know what it was or how to explain it. So that communication piece might not be down to the right levels. So do we have a long way to go? Yes. Can we get there? Yes. Is it going to happen tomorrow? No. But I think, you clocking us, caging us, and clocking us to where we need to go. This probably needs to be our top, if not, in the top 3 priority, especially with the concerns from everybody. It's coming from everybody, to include other students. Other students come to us and say, hey, we don't feel safe and stuff like that. So we get it from everywhere. And I think this needs to be at the top of our agenda. And let's see, thank everybody else for coming. Gary, always a pleasure. You're a very good writer and speaker. Love hearing from you. All right, and that's all I have. Consent items, A through I. Any board members got questions?
I have a couple. In fact, just like we need to probably answer. On the senior hornblower cruise, what is that? Give me a little more.
Okay, so they're going to go down to San Diego and do a self-tour through the San Diego Zoo down at Balboa Park. And then they're going to be taking a bus over to the marina or, to Mission Bay. And then they're going to be getting in one of those boats, those dinner cruise boats, and then they're going to have dinner. So that's what they're doing for their senior trip.
Okay, that's their senior trip.
Yeah, their senior trip.
Missing in the paperwork.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's for their senior trip.
Okay.
Yeah.
Senior dinner is like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, it's for their senior trip.
Okay. And they've raised all the money themselves.
They'll be raising the money. They've been doing it all year.
Yeah, well, they've probably been doing it for a couple of years.
Yeah. Well, they do, as you know, they start, and they put a little bit aside all the time for themselves, yeah.
Okay, I just needed a clarification on that. I'll make a motion that we approve.
I got,
You got questions on that?
another one about the Tropico one. The yearbook committee is going on a field trip to Universal Studios. Is that something we usually do just for the yearbook committee?
No,
Thinking at that.
they raised the money for that.
They raise the money,
Mhm.
so it's only them. It's not open to anybody else.
Correct.
This is what you get for being on a yearbook and did a good job.
Yep. They do a pretty good job too. They put that whole yearbook together.
$70,000 they raised up. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really surprised. And they, when our students are spending this money, is it being overlooked by somebody to make sure that it's all reasonable?
Yeah, so Chantel Byers is the ASB advisor, and if you remember from the last board meeting, there were no findings for the high school or the middle school ASB audits. So her and Ellen do a wonderful job scrutinizing those books and making sure everything's done right. I am the de facto ASB advisor right now at Tropico because Mrs. Olmos is out on leave, and so today we had yesterday we had our meeting in the morning, and Mrs. Byers attends all the meetings, reviews all the paperwork, shuts down anything that's illegal. And the kids don't try to get past with illegal things, but they just throw out ideas wanting to do them, and she'll say, nope, you can't do that, nope, you can't do that, yes, you can do that. They're on it. And I had the opportunity to work with Mrs. Ellen Murray as I did football, and she was just as tenacious as Chantel.
Oh, yes. She knows.
Yeah,
She knows the law.
I was pretty shocked that the ASB didn't have any write-ups. I think when she told
She
us
was.
so. No, really.
Oh, she
when
was shocked. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
typically when she goes to districts, ASB's the problem, that she did make a conversation.
Well, we've got a couple of people who are sharper than anything about this, and they know the law. And it's good about money handling and things like that. They keep a sharp eye.
And I know Cammie runs roughshod up here, so those are three fierce ladies.
Yes, they are.
I just think it's amazing that these students have raised this kind of money for these programs, and I want to make sure that everything's being overlooked, that we're getting the best value for everything they're doing. And I mean, I remember going to the Frosty Freeze when I was a kid for something that we did. You know, this is wonderful. This is really good. I like it. I only got one more comment. Is there any way I can get all these bucks before we leave? I'm gonna cash them in tomorrow.
You want to say,
Show up at 8:15 and you can do a joke of the day.
Yeah.
okay, get a motion? Get my motion done.
I second it.
Mr. Stender, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Student? All right, general, comprehensive school site safety plan, second reading, Mr. Barth.
Thank you. We brought this to first reading, got the board's feedback on the condition of the report, the content of the report, and we left with essentially several recommendations from the board. Names, unifying, making sure that all reports have had the required components. There were a couple of deviations from that, and nothing really significant, but I believe we put all of those together. Superintendent Gaines and I met, and we believe that we're going to do, we've already started the process, but we think that the reports, though they are individual school site reports, just from a formatting standpoint, we're going to bring them in alignment. So we've chosen a font and a font size, and so down to that level of detail, we will add in uniformity in these reports. And then we'll come back one more time for the board to.
You mean I have to read these over again?
I'm sorry?
I said I got to read all this over again?
Yes, there will be board approval next time.
Well, I wanted to say that the one from Tropico and West Park, I didn't find any errors in, or maybe minor things that are of no consequence, but I do have some things that I'll.
Would you like mine? Did you mark them and I will
I
happily
did.
take them. That would be very helpful. Thank you.
I did.
Great.
Any more questions? All right, part B, board policy updates, first reading, Mrs. Gaines.
Yes. My board policy committee consisting of Mrs. Sanchez and Dr. Robinson and I met. We went over all of these board policies. If you look on page 46 through 48 of your packet, each one of these board policies has a simple summary or synopsis of any changes or basically what the gist of the board policy is. I will tell you that on board policy 4116, the reason we had to choose option 1 was strictly based on ADA. Anyone that had an ADA of 250 students or more must select option 1, and that's why we fell into that category. So pretty much standard. And this is they're here for first reading. They will come back at the February 19th board meeting as well.
Could I request a copy of these board policies, please?
Absolutely.
Us as well, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Any questions? All right, personnel items, any questions?
I make a motion that we accept that.
I do have a question on volunteers. Did you ever get back with us on what training is required for volunteers as of the new year?
No.
Sexual harassment?
I know they have to, I'm not sure, I know that there's fingerprinting and they have to be cleared through, but I'm not sure if there's a training.
Can we close that loop before next, because we've already agreed to
Yes.
in January. I don't want those folks to have to go back and do it, because we can lose volunteers. But just for the folks, there may be additional training for volunteers. As per the new year, any sexual harassment and stuff that we get is classified and certificated. So just a heads up, it might be tough to get volunteers. we just need to close that loop because we have been approving the folks, and I don't want to go back.
It's just an hour-long computer thing, so.
Yeah.
It's still a pain.
Teachers are having to go through 6, 8, 10 hours of these trainings outside their regular.
Well, the
work
teachers
day.
have to do 2 hours, they're voluntarily.
And then I also want them to check mandated report or two, because it's possible volunteers could get faced with that issue as well. So we can just close the loop on that. Any other questions? Can I get a motion?
A question on the stipends. These all employees of the school, right? Give these stipends for coaching?
Mr. Bender, I'm sorry, would you ask?
Are they all employees of the school as these head coaches and it's getting the stipends? I guess they would be. But are they?
So they could have been hired off of the PD. I think it goes certificated first.
Yeah, not
Exactly.
necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Exactly, yeah.
General level.
We always try to go with the certificated first approved in our own employees, but sometimes it doesn't work.
And is there any guidelines for a employee to become a coach, as like being in good standings in the school district? Is there any, if there's any guidelines that they have to be? Or
Yes.
There's also like 6 classes you gotta take. It's pretty.
no write-ups to
Pretty
become to get the stipend to be the coach or anything like that?
You do a feedback at the end of your coaching season, correct? And to get your stipend, you gotta close it out.
Yes.
So for sure, there are requirements.
Yeah, there's a list, at least working with Mr. Riley, there's a list of things that a coach has to do before getting his stipend submitted.
Okay.
I believe you gotta self-critique and then get critiqued. Any other questions?
Oh, one more, sorry. Do we offer any bonus for them if they get into the playoffs?
There is a playoff bonus as per CIF, a couple hundred, isn't it?
Yeah, it's part of the
The further
RTA
you go.
contract. If you go into CIF playoffs for high school coaches, there's added stipends, not for middle school coaches.
But they say that, I wouldn't know.
But I didn't know that, I'll try to order.
Whoa.
And Jim, and if they make CIF, yeah, I told them, fill me up, I want rings.
And do they receive that the same year, or do they have to wait their bonus? Do they have to wait for the next year to receive that payment? Or do they receive it
No,
right
it has
away?
to come
I think they
out.
golden run. Or whatever they call it.
I don't-
The season has to be complete for them to finalize their stipend contract.
Okay.
So I assume, can't tell you for sure, but I would assume if they've been through playoffs, and once the playoffs are over and the season is over, then the bonus would be added into the stipend. I've never heard a complaint that it wasn't.
I heard it was, that's why I was bringing it up. They had to wait for the whole new year before they got paid.
It's never come to me.
Okay, thank you. I'm finished.
All right, can I get a motion?
I make a motion to adjourn. Oh.
Yeah, we
Sorry.
Vote
Make a motion for the personnel action.
I made a motion.
Okay, Moyer,
I'll second it.
Bender, all those in favor?
Aye.
One absence, good. Aye. All right, it's yours, my man.
Motion to adjourn at 8:11.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?